My name is Michael Archer, and I'm a senior designer at store number 0600 in Springfield, Missouri. And this is my technical trainer video. Today, we are using my guest Diane as my model, and she came in with 3/4 of an inch of regrowth in a level 3. We're going to be using chromatics in a 7 ash blue with 30 volume developer, just to cut a little bit of warmth while lifting. And I'm going to be using a second and third formula using Shades EQ Cream with 10 volume developers that I will explain as we get to those sections. We're also going to use a little freehand lightener using 30 volume Pro Oxide developer, and always using pH bonder step 1 in our lightener formula to prevent damage. Here we are mixing our 7AB with 30 volume developer. I'm going to use an entire tube because Diane's got thick hair and chromatics doesn't spread as easily as some other colors do, and we want good saturation all through her hair. So we're going to start with 4 quadrants, and I'm going to start my color application in the right rear quadrant. I'm just going to apply the color at her new growth and just feather out a little bit onto the prior color, just so we get a nice blend, because we don't want any harsh lines in Diane's color today. Once you complete the circle around your section, you're going to go back and take 1/4 to 1/2 inch subsections. Just lay that color on and feather up. We're going to do that working through this entire quadrant before moving to our next section. We have moved on to the left rear quadrant and working with 1/4 to 1/2 inch subsections, feathering into that prior color. Here we are, and we're getting ready to mix our second formula using 06NA and 09NA in a 50-50 mixture with 10 volume Pro Oxide. I've chosen to use the NA series just to cut a little bit of old warmth, and I'm using the 6 and the 9 in a 50-50 mix to bring us to a level 7. Using 10 volume developer because all we want is just deposit. We're not doing any lift at all. Mixing to a nice creamy consistency. Taking 1/4 to 1/2 inch subsections and just feathering that color on up to the line of her previous lightener. Cool everything down just a touch. Blend everything together so she gets a nice seamless color look today. We're working from right quadrant to left. And always taking smaller subsections between 1/4 and 1/2 inch and just feathering everything down. Our third formula today is going to be 09WN in a 50-50 mix with Clear from Shades EQ Cream and a 10 volume developer. We're going to alternate those with our lightener formula, just so she gets a lot of good dimension. Our lightener formula is going to be Freehand Lightener from Redken, always using the pH bonder step 1 to prevent damage from happening during the processing. My mixture is going to be 40 grams of freehand lightener powder. It's much easier to get your measurements if you use a scale using the powder rather than just the scoop, because you want it to be really accurate. Here we have 40 grams of lightener. Now we're taking the 30 volume developer from Pro Oxide It's a 1 to 1.5 mixture, so we had 40 grams of lightener. We're going to take 60 grams of developer. You want to blend everything together into probably about a pizza dough, cookie dough consistency. Here we have the pH bonder, step number 1 in our lightener formula. Since you use 4 milliliters per ounce of lightener, and we have 1.5 ounces, we're going to use 6 milliliters of pH bonder, step number 1 in our lightener formula today. You add that once you have your lightener and developer mixed together. And then just stir everything together into a nice workable consistency. Here I'm mixing my 09WN with my clear in a 50-50 mixture with tin volume developer. And again, that's what we're going to alternate in sections with our lightener. So we're going to take subsections of Diane's hair. I prefer to use my hands because I get a better feel for what I'm doing. We're going to start with our lightener and just feathering everything together so she gets a nice seamless blend of darker, and then we're going to gradiate into the mid shaft to a much lighter end. You want to make sure you get good saturation because the lightener it's a lot like the chromatics color. It's really heavy. The freehand creates a crust on the outside layer. That way you can lay it on top of other color and the crust keeps it from bleeding onto your other colors. We're also going to paint some on randomly throughout the upper portions of Diane's hair toward the new growth and mid shaft. That way she gets some lighter pieces, but not necessarily as light as her ends will be, just so there's a lot of great dimension. And we're alternating the lightener formula again with our secondary color formula of 06NA, 09NA with a 50-50 mix and tin volume developer. We also have 09WN and clear with a tin volume developer in a 50-50 mix. I decided kind of last minute that I wanted another Shades EQ cream formula using just the Shades EQ cream clear and a tin volume just to add some extra shine and conditioning, which is one of the great things about Shades EQ cream is the conditioning properties that it has. Using my fingers and just making sure we get good saturation, pulling through those mid shafts and ends. Sometimes I like to use more than one formula on a subsection. That way you get a little bit of everything. No matter where you look in Diane's hair color, you're going to see a lot of dimension, a lot of different tones all throughout. Toward the end, I'm going to take everything and just kind of blend it together. Now I'm going to take the color remover pads and just remove any little excess color I have around her hairline. And here you see where the freehand is already beginning to lighten through some of that color. And you can see there are not going to be any really harsh lines. Nothing hard, no really deep line because she wants a nice seamless blend. We're going to let her process. Normally, the Shades EQ cream processes for 20 minutes. The chromatics formula would process for 35. And the Redken freehand lightener, it just depends on the individual and their hair shaft. We're not really wanting to lift a great amount from Diane's hair. We want to have some lighter pieces as well as the 2 Shades EQ cream formulas on too. We're probably not going to let her sit for more than the 35 minutes in total that we processed the chromatics formula at. After she's processed, we're going to take her to the shampoo bowl and we're going to rinse everything really thoroughly. Want to make sure you get all of your lightener out, all of your color rinsed out. but we're not going to shampoo. We're just going to rinse until that water runs clear. Then we're going to take our pH bonder step number 2. We're going to work that into Diane's hair, and that's going to seal in everything that we've done today. It's going to make her hair nice and soft, add lots of shine. That, again, it seals in the protection that the pH bonder step 1 gives us during the processing of the lightener. That needs to set for 10 minutes. Again, rinsing very thoroughly. So the shampoo that I've chosen is Redken Color Extend Magnetics. I've chosen this today for Diane because it is sulfate free, which means it is not going to harm her color at all. It's going to help extend the length of the color. Sulfate free is also not as drying on the hair or the scalp. And massaging in really well, because sometimes the Chromatics formula, it leaves almost a film that you want to get thoroughly rinsed out. Secondly, I am using Redken Extreme Conditioner on Diane today to give a little bit of extra reparative quality to her hair. It's going to make it nice and soft. So working that all the way through the ends, and we don't necessarily need it at her scalp because you get natural oils from your scalp to probably an inch, maybe up to 3 inches out from your scalp. So if you pull up in a ponytail and just work your conditioner into the part that you've got pulled as a ponytail, then she should be fairly well taken care of. And again, we're just going to rinse thoroughly. Now we have her back at the chair, totally rinsed, processed. We're going to use the Redken 25 Benefits One United. Lots of great qualities to this product. It is smoothing, it is a little anti-humidity, it's a great heat protectant product. We're just going to work that through, spray, 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 and then work it through with my fingers, combing through as well. So we want to totally coat her hair. I don't like to use a lot of brushing with my blow dries, maybe toward the end just for some smoothing, but I like a lot more natural feel to my blow dry. Once you get her probably about 80% dry, then I'm going to take my brush just to give her a little shape, a little smoothness. But you can see, even though we used a strong volume developer with our lightener, you can still get that brush through Diane's hair very easily, and that is thanks to using the pH bonder steps 1 and 2 and the Redken One United. Absolutely one of my favorite products. Next, we're just going to curl some sections of Diane's hair using a flat iron. It's more of a ribbon curl. Using bigger sections because I don't want anything really tight, just something a little more loose and natural. Bigger sections will give you a lot more of that look. If you take smaller sections, you can get a much tighter curl. But with the length and the density of Diane's hair, the tighter the curl, the bigger the end result's going to be. We don't want big, we just want very natural looking flow. And as you can see, there's a nice blend of color all throughout. She has lighter pieces that go almost all the way up to her scalp, as well as a nice rich color through the midshaft. And as you work out toward the ends, you can see multiple colors there because of the formulas that we use today using Shades EQ Cream and our freehand lightener. We are almost finished with Diane today. I just want to work my fingers through, just kind of pull through, loosen that curl up, make it a lot more natural looking. I am going to take the Redken Argan Oil from All Soft, work it through my hands, just get it nice and warm and liquid, and just pull through the mid-shafts and ends of Diane's hair just to give a lot of shine. It smells great. It's going to make her hair really soft and really smooth today. So if she wants a little bit of hold for her curl, we're going to use the Redken Fashion Work number 12. Number 12 doesn't mean that it's a super strong hold. It just means that it holds 12 times stronger than just water. We're not going to spray real heavy. And here's Diane. Look at that smile. Look at that great blend of color. Not overly warm, which can sometimes happen when lifting from a level 3 or 4 to a level 7. Just wanted something richer than what her natural color is to blend down into that really nice, cool blonde at her ends. There are a lot of really nice blonde pieces in there, which is exactly what Diane came in looking for today, and she loves it.